Hi, and welcome to Carolina Varsity's look at the 3AA playoffs. I'm the pet man, Matt Morrow.
I'm Anthony Perkins.
And we're switching it up a little bit, and I'm trying my hand at hosting here. And the game we're now going to take a look at is the South Point Red Raiders traveling up to Concord to take on the Concord Spiders in this third round game. South Point last week defeated Burns 51-14. And Concord snuck by Piedmont 21-14 in a game they got up 21-0. Piedmont made a quarterback change in the fourth quarter. And he came in, put 14 points on the board, but Piedmont just ran out of time. In my opinion, I think the key for South Point is they've got to rally to Rocky Reed, the star running back for Concord defensively. They can't be fooled by deception. Coach Padgett does a real good job in bringing out something new every week, and I'm sure he's going to have something new for South Point. And South Point's just got to be ready to react to it. I think offensively, South Point's going to do what they do in that offense, and Concord will probably have some kind of special look ready for them, and they just got to be ready to have counters off of those special looks that they see. For Concord, I think the passing game is going to be there. I know they like to run the football with Rocky Reed a lot, but Coach Padgett is versatile, and he has the ability to throw the football when it's there. They've got to be able to still run the football with Reed, establish that first, and open it up with the pass. Against that red bone option, they got to play assignment football all night. No matter if South Point comes out in a different formation, those defensive players have got to know their assignment. If they got quarterback who's got the dive, who's got the pitch, and they got to execute that on every play to have a chance of trying to slow South Point down. And Anthony, I know you cover South Point, and what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I agree with you. South Point's, you're right. They do what they do, and
Right.
they do it pretty good too.
Oh yeah.
And they've got their quarterback Jaquan Brooks. He's averaging over 100 yards rushing per game. Tyler Bray's averaging over 100 yards rushing per game. DeAndre King is, if he had more touches, he would probably be averaging over, but he's only averaging like 80-something yards a game.
Okay.
The thing that I was impressed, for carryovers from one game to the next. Last week, in the game against Burns, they held Burns to their lowest point total for the year defensively.
Yeah, that was very impressive.
And offensively, they put more points on Burns than anybody's put on them this year.
Okay.
And so the South Point defense is looking really good. I agree with what Dale said a while ago about defense wins championships.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of truth to that.
Most definitely.
And a lot of folks have thought the South Point defense was susceptible to the pass all year. And last week, I think Burns only had 20-something yards passing on the night.
Wow, that's very impressive.
And South Point had either 4 or 5 sacks, 1 interception. I'm sorry, 2 interceptions.
Okay.
And they shut the Burns passing offense down. Now, in defense of Burns, their 6'8" receiver was out with the flu last week.
Okay.
So I'm sure that made a difference.
Okay.
But still, South Point's defense is coming along really well, which a lot of folks said that the offense has always been there, and always is there. But
right.
the question mark, the big question mark was the defense. But the defense is really playing lights out right now. The last 2 or 3 games, they've stopped 6. They've had 6 goal line defenses where the team advanced the ball inside the 5-yard line. They kept them out of the end zone.
Wow.
That's pretty good. Now Concord, though, like you say, I think the key for Concord to beat South Point this week would be to have a good passing game.
Right. So South Point can stop the run pretty well.
They're pretty good at it. Now last week they focused on Burns' passing game, and their run defense hurt a little bit because Burns run a pretty good amount of rushing yards last week.
Right.
But it's one of those you can't have everything type of deals.
Yeah.
But they obviously perform well enough to win the ball game.
Now
Burns only scored twice.
South Point had some guys out last week, right?
Not to my knowledge. I can't remember.
Okay. So everyone's healthy and they're ready to go.
As far as I know, yes.
Okay.
Now you might be referring to Tyler Bray. He had a they thought he had an injury last week in the game,
Mhm.
but I talked to the coach after the game. He said it was just a little bruise, and
Oh, okay.
he just got stoved up a little bit, but he was okay because he came back in the game, ran 2 or 3 plays, and came out for a rest.
Okay.
But they had a big lead by then; they didn't need him.
Good.
But no, he said he would be ready to go.
Okay.
As far as that was the only injury that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But Concord's got a good offense. These are number 2 and number 3 seed. Could be a number 1 and a 2.
Well,
Actually, it could be 2 number 1 seeds.
exactly.
but,
another seeding issue down
yeah.
here with Freedom getting a number 1 seed in a draw. But obviously these ended up being the 2 better
Right.
teams because they're still here. So I'm sure you'll be there covering once again.
Dale brought up a good point too in some of the other videos, and you did too. The key when you get to this point in playoffs, turnovers are always key.
Yes. Yes.
Whichever team usually turns the ball over the most loses.
Yeah.
And it does. No matter how good you are, it's hard to give away the football and erase a chance to score. So I think turnovers will be big in this game. They was monumental in the South Point Burns game.
Right.
The other games that I have read reports of, turnovers played big in those games as well. So whichever team I think controls the ball, maintains control of the ball, does not turn the ball over, whether it's interceptions or fumbles, either one. I think that they're automatically going to have an edge. Now, both teams play up to their capabilities, take care of the ball. It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up. Either team could win.
The one thing Concord will have a little bit of an advantage in, Piedmont runs some option in their offense, and they did a good job of shutting that down for most of the game. But when that backup quarterback came in and ran the option, he had a nice long run for a touchdown late in the 4th quarter, and he had a deep touchdown pass also off of that same type of action. So, it'll be interesting to see what the Concord defensive game plan is. But it'll be a good one. You guys enjoy the game. Thanks for watching.